Hey, what is up, everybody? So, as you all know, the E3 they revealed some Spider-Man gameplay, right? And I thought to myself after seeing the whole gameplay trailer, which you'll be seeing in the background, what characters are they going to show in this universe that they've created? Now, they mentioned that they're going to be having characters like Captain Watanabe, Yuri, and she's the Wrath, as you've seen if you've read the comics before, or if you just generally know that she's the Wrath or Wraith, whatever, however you say it. And it brings an interesting thought as to where they're going to be pulling things from now. Like for me, it seems like they're pulling things from partial movies, 616 universe, and the Ultimate Universe. I forget if it's called Earth 1610. I'm not sure. It's been a minute. But yeah, it's interesting because I always thought that in all the games that featured, like let's say Venom, for example, I thought that we might see anti-venom, and the fact that this game is bringing in a character like Yuri Watanabe, it kind of opened my eyes because there was a storyline in a comic book for the Amazing Spider-Man series, the main canon one, and it featured Mr. Negative, Anti-Venom, Yuri, Spider-Man, and Carly Cooper, Peter's girlfriend at the time. I'm not sure if they're going to be putting her in the game as well. It would be cool because it'd be different than seeing like Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy. Different take on a character that we haven't seen before in a video game or a movie, obviously. And we get to see how she would react to Peter's world, essentially, because this is the way that they describe it. It's their own universe, and they're doing things differently now. Things that I like I said, I think that a cool character like Anti-Venom would be cool to implement in the game because not only one, he's not really a bad guy anymore. He can be considered as an ally. He can be considered as an ally or a villain because Peter, he sees him as both a villain and partially an ally because one of the past things that Venom has done was terrorize people, count a lot of things. I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail because there's so much things that Venom has done, it's uncountable. But Anti-Venom is like a whole nother thing. He brings a whole nother aspect to Spider-Man himself. He essentially, his tie-in with Mr. Negative is that Mr. Negative created him essentially. So the fact that Mr. Negative is in the game offers things to think about. So at the end of the trailer, which you'll see, or not trailer, but the end of the gameplay scene, you see Mr. Negative, and Martin Lee turns into Mr. Negative, and he grabs Spider-Man by the arm, and what I'm presuming is that he uses his powers, his little negative feedback, and he does something to Peter. You've seen it before if you read the comics. He can make people different, like a negative. It's his name. A negative effect. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with Peter because, like they said, Peter's world is going to collide with Spider-Man's world. It's not going to be the same. So it's an interesting thought to see how is Peter going to react in his world when he's under this different state of transition because of what Mr. Negative did. And another thought to think about is the types of villains that they're going to use in this because the fact that they're putting Mr. Negative, a character who isn't really shown a lot now. He was shown, briefly here and there in the comic books. He's not that old of a villain. He's only like 6 years old, from what I know. And he's kind of liked by people. I hope that this game makes him liked by more people because he is a good villain. He's, interesting storyline for him. But I want to see what villains that they do want to bring. Like if they bring other villains, like Shocker is one of them that Spider-Man 1 took a shot and brought him in there. Ultimate Spider-Man, obviously they brought that in there because that game was based on all Ultimate Spider-Man villains. Let's see, I'm trying to think of other ones. There's a lot, like Alistair Smythe. That's one that they could have done for the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but they didn't bring that in there. So there's a lot of things that they can add in here that we don't know about, and of course, because this game is coming out in early 2018, we can start easily presuming like what the story is going to be like. Now, for me, I have a general idea, like I said, of what the story might be, but now that they have like said that this is their own universe, and they're adding and expanding to it like in their own way, that's where it's like you can really start speculating and thinking about what exactly is going to be shown in the whole story. And they did mention it's a pretty big story, so I'm going to be excited to see like how long it's going to play out, because once you play a Spider-Man game, like I said before, it's over after that. It's done, because there's nothing else to do except side quests and complete the game 100%, and then just swing around and do stuff or redo the story mode at a different level and stuff. I do want to see. What I don't want to see is like the basic villains again. Obviously, you saw how they had the Kingpin jailed up already, which was really interesting. The Fist Tower was in development, from what it seems, looks like it was in development, not being taken down. But Fist was in jail, so it begs the question as to what's going on there. What's the rivalry, and the rivalry between the Demon Clan and Fisk? Because I'm not sure if they're gonna show Fisk henchmen in there. Those henchmen aren't really like henchmen. They don't. They're just there to build the tower, I think. There is a clan. I don't know. I forget what it's called. It's Shadow something. Um, he has his own thing called the Shadowland, where he has these ninjas, right? And there's a hobgoblin. It's not the regular hobgoblin, but another thing that'd be cool to see too, a hobgoblin instead of Green Goblin, because we haven't seen that take on a character before. But yeah, it's hobgoblin and this whole bunch of other ninjas and stuff that do whatever, like if Fist sends a task for him. And Daredevil, that's his villain as well, so Spidey and Daredevil team up time to time. And that's another thing, team ups in here and there. And they, if Miles Morales is in there, you're expected to see Miles Morales as Spider-Man. So it's expected to see that, maybe we get a villain like Prowler or something like that. Or maybe we'll even get to switch between different Spider-Man storylines, like test out Miles Morales and stuff like that, and see the inner reactions. I don't want to go into like a whole bunch of detail, because I want to leave other people to speculate down in the comment section below. But just know that there's a lot of characters out there that possibly may make a comeback. Characters that people just kind of downplay. Like, I like how obviously Spider-Man Homecoming is bringing in characters like Shocker and Vulture for the first time in movies, instead of just bringing in like the Goblin and stuff like that. That's what I want to see, and that's what the game is bringing too. And the gameplay is phenomenal. Everything looks crisp, and like I said in my first video, I wanted them to take something from each Spider-Man game, and that's exactly what they did. They took one aspect, or maybe more, from each game and included it into one, and then improved on them. So it was really glad to see. But yeah, just gonna touch up on this one more time. If they add in characters like villains as your allies, it'll be interesting to see, because you don't generally do that a lot in games. You see in the first part of the trailer that he has to save Fist men, so stuff like that will be interesting to see. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
People see me and think they're safer. But it's not really me they're seeing. Probably for the best. Knowing everything hinges on a guy from Queens sounds as scary as it feels. No pressure, right?